and you know whether you've got to lift your pace a little bit. So it will be a battle to pull on the jersey tonight, whereas I think last night it was possibly an advantage for Zabriskie to lose it because he hasn't had to do all the work.
And that's the way it works, Phil, and that's what makes it very difficult to figure out the tactics for teams on different individual stages. But we're going to have a more interesting stage tomorrow, I have to say, once we get to the individual time trial, because those guys will have to take off their gloves and come out boxing.
Yes, afternoon start tomorrow here in Los Angeles for the race. And it'll again be quite warm. 2 minutes 40. It's coming down. It is not going to stay away. No longer is George Hincapie the leader of this race on the road now. That's gone back to Michael Rogers and equal first. There he is, concentrating now, but still looking very, very content with his pace. Chris Horner, never know whether that man's grimacing or smiling. He always looks happy anyway. A concentration of Levi Leipheimer. Saw the camera coming. I think he's put on his mask now.
No, definitely got the mask on, the mask, because he knows in a little while he's going to try and have to do something special to pull himself a bit higher up in the overall classification, because I think he would like to have the advantage of starting last in the individual time trial, because when you do that, you get a chance to get the times of the riders who start in front of you. At the moment, that lies onto the shoulders of Mick Rogers.
Unfortunately, this year we're not going to the beautiful enclave of Solvang because of the change of routes for May. And that's where the time trial was always held towards the last couple of years, and Leipheimer always consolidated his victories in this race in that time trial. He has a big challenge on his hand, but I have to say that Leipheimer did do his Twitter yesterday, as we're seeing the race split up here for the moment, and he wished everybody the best of luck for a great competition, because he was delighted for Michael Rogers, which I thought was very sporting of him. But now it looks like Brakovic has decided to try his luck, and he's a big danger. That's going to have to cause. It's a good move, this, by Radio Shack.
It is a very good move. The fact is they've got a lot of good riders in this bike race. The man who seems to be trying to respond there, I think, is going to be Tommy Danielson. This puts a lot of pressure now onto everybody else in this race, and you can see all of a sudden the pressure is just a little bit too much for Nisha Grierman from Rabobank. He's slipping off the back. It didn't work this time, but the most important thing is to try it the first time, go over the top, try it a second time, 3 or 4 times, then all of a sudden you break the elastic.
Yes, you see, because he is in a position to take the yellow jersey. He's riding high. He's in the 31-second group off yellow. And so he's got to cause a reaction from the likes of Rogers and Zabriskie. And what it has done, it's put Gusha Nierman into a little spot of bother. He might get back. He was in the breakaway, remember, yesterday. So he might be tired today as we went down to Bakersfield, that nasty little climb towards the end.
There's the BMC bikes, the team car which will be supporting George Hincapie. Hincapie there just sitting at the back of this group, a group which started the day as strong as 8 riders. Since then, slowly but surely, riders have been left behind. Carlos Borrego was the first to go. Steph Clement was the next to go, leaving 6 men who were together for an awful long time. Then all of a sudden, just moments ago, Andy Schleck has disappeared from that group, and we're now down to just 5 men.
Yes, indeed. And I'm just wondering, Jason McCartney there in the red jersey of Radio Shack, is he a passenger? Because he's got no reason to drive this race on. He's now doing a little bit of work at the front, full sang. The spirit's gone out a little bit, I think. 2 minutes 30 seconds. I'm expecting another George Hincapie attack shortly up front. This is the rider very quickly going back to the pack. Andy Schleck has had his moment out front. A very long day in the saddle out front. He also is now resigned to seeing the bunch. He might be surprised as to how small it is. As again, we've got another attacker gone by Brakovic again. As he streaked through the motorbikes to take advantage of the confusion.
Well, everybody's alert on Team Radio Shack now, Phil. They're trying to set something up. They're trying to see who's got the legs, which team is the strongest team to respond. Now, if they start attacking and slowing down like this, this could be an advantage for that leading group of riders, and it could be an advantage for George Hincapie in that leading group of 5. There's another move.
This is Levi. This is another. Now there'll be sheer panic in the pack here now. Just watch this. They're all after his wheel. They're scrambling right rabbits to hook up to this one. This is a tester, first
Horner.
of all. It's Chris Horner, I beg your pardon. It's Chris Horner who's gone. See, and these are those key cards. Everybody's watching Levi, but Horner and Brakovic can win this tour. They're half a minute off the pace.
Well, those are the little warning signals there across the bows, trying to get everybody ready. Get everybody now. Phil is starting to get nervous. They will be jumping after all of these. Then all of a sudden, I wouldn't be surprised to see the move come from Levi Leipheimer. There he is, just sitting in around about 10th position there, just on the right-hand side of the pack. We're looking at about 26 miles to go, 41 kilometres of racing. Well, a bit more calm coming back to that main group.
Look at the time now, down to a minute 50. I think there's only 3 Radio Shack riders left in that group too.
So, the front group now, this is Hincapie. He's just trying to get the organisation coming to the leading group of 5, and all of a sudden, the guys, and maybe the order has gone through now to Garmin Transitions and the Radio Shack riders in this leading group that, okay, there's no threat now to the overall standing, so you can start to work and try and duke it out and get yourself an individual stage victory. What a stage victory that would be to have on your pedigree, saying, well, I won the first big mountain stage of the Amgen Tour of California up to Big Bear Lake. So there we go. There are 3 riders left in this group from Radio Shack. And what it's done is it's ruffled the feathers of HTC Columbia and Garmin Transitions, and now they will be very alert. Number 21, slipping to the back of the group, is Andy Schleck. He's had a hard day out on the roads of California, and recovery there for Grisha Neerman, number 37. He's back in the pack. 74 there for BMC is Steve Morabito. Now, he's not too far down in the standings either. He's looking for 1 minute and 48 seconds. As we go back quickly up the road to Hincapie. Hincapie, Fulsgang, Thomas Rabu, who will almost certainly be the winner of the California Travel and Tourism King of the Mountains competition. Oh, there's a move by McCartney.
And this is an attack by Jason McCartney now from the leaders here, Paul, to Radio Shack. They seem to have had the message in their ears to start hitting the others. And what it has done, it's got rid of Jakob Fulsang.
Well, I think the word went out there to Radio Shack and the Garmin Transitions riders in that breakaway that now you can have a free ride. We brought it back inside of 3 minutes. It's nice and comfortable. Let's try and get a big stage victory. And what a stage victory, Phil, to have if you win the first big ever mountain stage of the Amgen Tour of California. The 8-man leading group has finally whittled itself down to just 3. McCartney has got very good legs, but you don't catch out old George Hincapie. He's come across the gap, and I wouldn't be surprised now to see Matty Wilson there in 3rd place in that group start to participate in trying to make this a successful breakaway.
No, you won't catch Matty Wilson out either. This guy is a very experienced Pro Tour bike rider, riding on Garmin Transitions as well. Good attack, though, by Jason McCartney. Well done to him. We're pulling back now to the group, which is only 1 minute and 25 behind. 25 miles to go, 40 kilometres. These look like our sumo wrestlers from last year, I think.
They're the same sumo wrestlers from last year, and they don't seem to have lost any weight at all. So they've probably kept filled up with the amount of rice that they need to stay at that level of competition.
Well, I don't know. They have about 50 eggs for breakfast, you know, sumo wrestlers, to keep up the old weight there. But these boys, if they run to the top of the mountain, will certainly slim down a bit.
And 32 bowls of rice.
Indeed, indeed. This is what's left of the head of the main peloton now. The rest are spread right across the San Bernardino Mountains today. And one by one, the domestics are doing all they can do and then dropping off the back. I think Radio Shack have been isolated in as much they only have their 3 best riders left in this group. But that's good enough. That's fine. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yep, and there's still a lot of attacking yet to go. But what's happened now with those little attacks that came from Brakovic and from Chris Horner, it's got everybody else rattled. Everybody else is now waiting to see when the next move is going to come. And everyone now will be extremely tense, waiting for those next attacks.
Yes, we've seen these little ripple of attacks, all unsuccessful. But each time it seems to be Radio Shack who are thinking of the moves to see what does happen. Back up front, the 3 leaders now. Originally 8, down to 3. And 39 kilometres still to go, just under 25 miles. Jason McCartney, Radio Shack. Very good attack by him. Matt Wilsham, Garmin Transitions, and George Hincapie, his new team today, BMC. And back to the car here. It looks as though we've got Jens Voigt having a chat with Bjarne Riis. Jens in this select group of chasers. And Jens never has a yes or no answer, does he? It's got to be a long conversation. Bjarne's probably saying, go and attack Jens. And he's arguing the fact right now. It's being reflected in his heart rate. Look, we have a monitor here. He's running at 123 watts output, I think it is at the moment. 163 beats a minute.
Yeah, well, the heart rate is